Anatomy and physiology of the larynx. So objectives of this topic: to discuss the basic anatomy of the larynx and to enumerate the main functions of the larynx, which is very important. So you look in the diagram. This is the anatomy of the larynx, and there is a two photo there. One is the larynx, another is the larynx and neck. So upper leveling of the mouth, oral cavity, tongue, epiglottis, vocal cord, trachea, and epiglottis. So below is the esophagus. Upper is a palate. Then oral cavity, then tongue, then epiglottis, then vocal cord, and then trachea, then esophagus. So this is the normal anatomy of the larynx. So now the another slide is laryngeal cartilage. So in the larynx, there is a paired and unpaired cartilage. So paired cartilage are three. The name of this paired cartilage is arytenoid cartilage, corniculate cartilage, cuneiform cartilage. And unpaired cartilage is thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, and the epiglottis. So this is the paired and unpaired cartilage. So now you look the thyroid cartilage. So the diagram showing the side view from behind and from in front. This is a thyroid cartilage. There is a red line leveling. So it is the hyaline type of cartilage. It is the largest, and it is encloses the larynx anteriorly and laterally. And there is a two early, and there is a ossifications. Now this is the thyroid cartilage. The another cartilage is cricoid cartilage. You look in the diagram, this is the cricoid cartilage. So it is also hyaline type cartilage. Directly below the thyroid cartilage, it is below the thyroid cartilage, and it is very strong. It is the strongest cartilage. And the shape of this cartilage is a signet ring, just like a signet ring. You look in the diagram. And there is a lamina, which is a flat portions. And only complete annular support of the larynx. And it is articulate inferior cornu of the thyroid cartilage. It is articulated inferior cornu of the thyroid cartilage. So now thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage. The number third is epiglottis. You look in the diagram, there is a showing the epiglottis, and it is a fibroelastic cartilage. and it is a leaf-shaped structure, and petiole is small, narrow, and portion of the glottis. It is the portion of the glottis. So this is epiglottis. Now after the paired cartilage, then you come to the unpaired cartilage. So this is the paired cartilage. It is a retinoid cartilage. Paired means it is a two. Unpaired means only one. So mostly it is a hyaline cartilage, smaller in size, responsible for opening and closing of the larynx, and shape is a pyramidal. The shape of this is pyramidal, and showing the diagram, retinoid cartilage, and above is a corniculate cartilage, laterally is a cuneiform cartilage, and then it is a below there is a retinoid cartilage base, showing the diagram, and there is a insertions of keratoretinoids posteriorly. So now in the diagram, cartilage of the larynx, it is showing in the posterior view in the diagram. And above is epiglottis, then hyoid bone, and then thyroid cartilage lamina, then vocal ligament, then cricoid cartilage, then trachea. And superior horn of the thyroid cartilage, and thyrohyoid membrane, and corniculate cartilage, retinoid cartilage, and inferior horn of the thyroid cartilage, showing in the diagram. So now anterior is a vocal process, receive the attachment of the mobile end of each vocal cord. And laterally, muscular process, articulations, and cricoretinoid joint. This is the retinoid cartilage. Now come to the corniculate cartilage, which is showing in the diagram. So it is a fibroelastic type cartilage of Santorini, and a small cartilage above the retinoid in the airy epiglottic folds. So there is a diagram showing the anterior view and the posterior view. So now the next slide is cuneiform cartilage. So first you look the diagram. There is a leveling of the laryngeal inlet, first showing the vallicula, median glossoepiglottic fold, epiglottis, tubercle of the epiglottis, vocal cord, ventricular fold, and airy epiglottic fold, cuneiform cartilage, and corniculate cartilage, and the trachea. So cuneiform cartilage, it is a fibroelastic cartilage of Rinsberg, elongated piece of a small yellow elastic cartilage in the airy epiglottic folds. So this is the cuneiform cartilage. Now come to the trapecius cartilage. So you look in the diagram, there is a showing the hyoid bone and cartilago trapecia. So cartilago trapecia showing in the diagram, and a small elastic cartilage in the lateral thyroid ligament. So now the next slide is laryngeal ligament. So there is a two type of ligament, extrinsic ligament and intrinsic ligament. So what are the extrinsic ligament? So extrinsic ligament are thyroid membrane and the ligament. Then second is a cricothyroid membrane and ligament, and cricotracheal ligament and the epiglottitis. So these are the extrinsic ligament. So now the intrinsic ligament are elastic membrane and quadrangular membrane and conus elasticus. You look the conus elasticus, which is the cricovocal membrane. It is the name of also cricovocal membrane, conus elasticus. And sometimes short notes will come in the theory paper, conus elasticus. So median cricothyroid ligament, vocal ligament, and thyroepiglottic ligament, which is a intrinsic ligament of the larynx. So now the next slide is extrinsic ligament. So extrinsic ligament, thyroid membrane pierced on each side by superior laryngeal vessel, internal branch of superior laryngeal nerve, median thyroid ligament, thickened the median portion, and lateral thyroid ligament, thickened posterior border where cartilagotriticea is often found. So this is a extrinsic ligament of the larynx, and showing the diagram, there is a cartilagotriticea is often found. So now the next slide is extrinsic ligament, showing the diagram. So you look in the diagram, above is a hyoid bone, lateral thyroid ligament, superior cornu of the thyroid cartilage, superior laryngeal nerve and artery, an oblique line, cricohyoid muscles, inferior cornu, and cricoid cartilage, trachea, and thyroid membrane, median thyroid ligament, laryngeal incisor, thyroid cartilage, median cricothyroid ligament, and conus elasticus, which is showing, and cricoid cartilage. So cricothyroid membrane and ligament may be pierced for emergency tracheostomy, which is called cricothyrotomy. Cricothyrotomy is an emergency tracheostomy. Tracheostomy is an alternative pathway of the respiration. So now the extrinsic ligament, cricotracheal ligament, attach the cricoid cartilage to the first attached ring, and epiglottis suspended in positions by membranous connections to the hyoid bone, thyroid cartilage, and base of the tongue. So this is the extrinsic ligament, cricotracheal ligament, and epiglottis. So you look diagram. This is the right lateral view of the larynx. So another diagram is a medial view of sagittal sections. We are showing the labioid structure, epiglottis to the trachea. So intrinsic ligament is elastic membrane divided into upper and lower part of the ventricles of the larynx, and quadrangular membrane, upper part of the elastic membrane, boundaries like epiglottis, arytenoids, cornicuate cartilage, false cord, and forms part of the wall between upper piriform sinus and laryngeal vestibules. So these are the elastic membrane and quadrangular membrane, which is the intrinsic ligament, and boundary of the quadrangular membrane is epiglottis, arytenoids, cornicuate cartilage, false cord. So now the intrinsic ligament like conus elasticus, it is also called cricovocal membrane. So lower part of the elastic membrane composed mainly of yellow elastic tissue, and boundaries of the conus elasticus cartilage and superior anterior deep surface of angle of thyroid cartilage, and superior posterior vocal process of arytenoid cartilage, and median cricothyroid ligament thickened anterior part, and vocal ligament free the upper edge, and thyroepiglottic ligament. So this is the extrinsic ligament, conus elasticus and thyroepiglottic ligament. So now come to the another slide is laryngeal cartilage. It is showing the anterior view. So in the hyoid bone, you look in the diagram, hyoid bone, epiglottis, lesser cornu, greater cornu, and body of the hyoid bone. Now then thyroepiglottic ligament, thyroid cartilage, and conus elasticus, cricoid cartilage is showing in the anterior view of the laryngeal cartilage. So now the next slide is the cavity of the larynx. So there is a divided into three parts: vestibule, ventricle, and subglottic space. So now look in the diagram. So above the vestibules of the larynx showing, and then next is a infraepiglottic space, and then another is a trachea. So these are the three spaces: vestibule of the larynx, infraglottic space, and trachea. And next slide is cavity of the larynx. So now vestibule, the boundary of vestibule, anterior is posterior surface of epiglottis, and posterior is interval between arytenoid cartilage, and lateral is inner surface of aryepiglottic folds and upper surface of the false cord. So this is the cavity of the larynx and boundary of vestibules. And cavity of the larynx, the ventricle, and it is a saccule conical pouch at anterior part. The glottis, it is also called rima glottis. So abduction, respiration wide and triangular, and adductions, phonation slit-like appearance. So this is the ventricle and the glottis. So the next slide is cavity of the larynx, subglottic space, and pre-epiglottic space, and boundaries of pre-epiglottis space, anterior thyrohyoid membrane, anterior superior hyoid bone, superior is vallicula, posterior is part of epiglottis, lateral is hyoepiglottic ligament. So this is a diagram we are showing the supraglottis, subglottis. You look in below is a subglottic space and above is a supraglottic space. So this is the cavity of the larynx. And now come to the cavity of the larynx. There is a false cord. It is also called ventricular band, showing in the diagram. And there is a showing the false vocal cords in the diagram. And the anterior is angle of the thyroid cartilage. Posterior is body of the arytenoid cartilage. This is the false cords. Now true cords. True cord is a voice protections of lower respiratory tract, and anterior angle of thyroid cartilage. Posterior is a vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage and encloses vocal ligament and major part of the vocalis muscle. So this is the false and true cords. Now the joint. What are the laryngeal joint? So there is a cricothyroid joint and cricoarytenoid joint. So cricothyroid joint between inferior cornu of the thyroid cartilage and facet on the cricoid cartilage at the junctions of the arch and lamina. And two movements. There is a two movements, rotation and gladdening. And cricoarytenoid joint between base of the arytenoid cartilage and the facets on the upper border of the lamina of the cricoid cartilage. So two movement, there is a rotations and gliding. So these are the cricothyroid joint and cricoarytenoid joint. The functions is rotation and gliding. So now come to the laryngeal muscle. So there is an extrinsic group and intrinsic group. So extrinsic muscles are depressor group, elevator group. So constrictor muscles are pharyngeal muscles. Constrictors muscles and pharyngeal muscles are the extrinsic muscles, and intrinsic muscles, interarytenoid muscles, transverse and oblique, and posterior cricoarytenoid muscles, and lateral cricoarytenoid muscles, and thyroarytenoid muscles, and cricothyroid muscles. So these are the extrinsic and intrinsic muscles of the larynx. So now the next slide is, so you look the depressor muscles, origin, insertions and the actions. The sternohyoid muscles C2, C3. So origin of the sternohyoid muscle, manubriums of sternum and medial end of the clavicle. And the insertions is oblique line of the thyroid cartilage, and action is depresses, stabilize the hyoid bone. The second one is thyrohyoid membrane, thyrohyoid muscles, C1. So origin is oblique line of the thyroid cartilage, and lower border of the hyoid bone is insertions, and actions of this muscle is elevate the larynx, depresses, stabilize the hyoid bone. And third is the omohyoid muscles, C2, C3. So origin of this muscle is a superior border of scapula near the suprascapular notch, and insertion is inferior border of hyoid bone, and action is depresses, retract, and steadies the hyoid during swallowing and speaking. So this is the muscle, so origin, insertions, and the actions. So now this is the elevator muscles. So geniohyoid, which is C1, origin is inferior mental spine of the mandible. So insertion is a body of hyoid bone. Action is pulls the hyoid bone anteriorly, superiorly, and shortens the floor of the mouth and widens the pharynx. Now second is digastric muscles. So anterior cranial nerve 5th, posterior nerve 7th. So anterior origin of this muscle is anterior belly of digastric fossa of the mandible, and posterior belly mastoid notch of the temporal bone. So insertions of this muscle is intermediate tendon to body and greater horn of the hyoid bone. And actions of this muscle is it depresses the mandible and raises the hyoid bone. Also, it steadies the hyoid bone during swallowing and speaking. So now the third muscle is a mylohyoid. Mylohyoid line of the mandible, which is origin. Insertion is ref of the body of the hyoid bone. And action is elevates the hyoid bone, floor of the mouth and the tongue during swallowing and speaking. And stellohyoid, origin of the stellohyoid, process of the temporal bone, body of the hyoid bone, and elevate and retract the hyoid bone, thereby elongating the floor of the mouth. So this is the elevators muscle, origin, insertions, and the actions. So now you look in the diagram showing the muscles between tongue and hyoid bone is inferior longitudinal muscles of the tongue. Then another is styloglossus muscles, hyoglossus muscles, genioglossus muscles, geniohyoid muscles, and mylohyoid muscles. So this is the muscles showing the diagram. So now the next slide is so elevators muscles. So elevators muscles are stylopharyngeus muscles. Origin is a styloid process of the temporal bone, and posterior superior border of thyroid cartilage with platopharyngeus muscle is insertion, and action is elevate the pharynx, larynx, and expand the side of the pharynx. Then another elevator muscles are sulfingopharyngeus, which is also pharyngeal plexus. And origin of this muscle is a cartilaginous part of the auditory tube, blend with platopharyngeus muscle, elevate the pharynx, larynx, and open the orifice of the auditory tube during swallowing. And then platopharyngeus, the origin of hard palate, palatine epineurosis, and insertion is lateral wall of the pharynx. And action is tense the soft palate, pulls the wall of the pharynx superiorly, anteriorly, and medially during the swallowing. So these are the three muscles: salpingo-pharyngeus, salpingo-pharyngeus, and plytopharyngeus, which is a elevator's muscles, the origin, insertion, and the actions. So now you see the diagram in the intrinsic muscles of the larynx, which is a posterior view. So transverse arytenoid muscles, posterior cricoarytenoid muscles, and aryepiglottic muscles, and oblique arytenoid muscles. So these are the muscles showing the diagram in the posterior view. Now the next slide is muscles controlling the laryngeal inlet. Oblique, and origin is a muscular process of the arytenoid cartilage. Insertion, posterior surface of the arytenoid cartilage near its apex, and actions of the muscle is draw arytenoids cartilage together and adducting the vocal folds, and thyroepiglottic. So inner surface of the thyroid cartilage near the thyroid, near the laryngeal prominence. So insertion is a lateral surface of a epiglottic cartilage, and the action is draws the epiglottic cartilage downwards. So this is the controlling the laryngeal inlet. So now it is a intrinsic muscles of the larynx, lateral dissections, and showing the oblique transverse arytenoid muscles, aryepiglottic muscles, posterior cricoarytenoid muscles, and cricothyroid muscles, lateral cricoarytenoid muscles, thyroarytenoid muscles, and thyroepiglottic muscles. So these are showing in the diagram, the different muscles, which is labeled in the lateral dissections of the larynx. Now the next slide is muscles controlling the movement of the vocal cord. So cricothyroid muscles, origin is arch of the cricoid cartilage. Insertion is inferior border of the thyroid cartilage, and action is draw the thyroid cartilage forward and lengthening the vocal ligament, tense vocal cords. And thyroarytenoid muscles, the insertion origin is inner surface of the thyroid cartilage. Insertion is a lateral border of arytenoid cartilage, and action is a relaxage and adduct the vocal folds. And lateral cricoarytenoids, arch of the cricoid cartilage, muscular process of the arytenoid cartilage, and action is adducts the vocal cords by rotating the arytenoid cartilage. So this is the muscles controlling the movement of the vocal cord. See the intrinsic muscles, origin, insertion, and the actions, cricothyroid, thyroarytenoids, and lateral arytenoids. So here the diagram showing the actions of the vocalis and the thyroid membrane, and action lateral cricothyroid muscles showing the diagram, and actions of cricoarytenoid muscles. The muscles controlling the movement of the vocal cords, posterior intrinsic muscles, posterior cricoid, origin, posterior surface of the lamina of the cricoid cartilage, insertions, muscular process of the arytenoid cartilage, and actions is adduct the vocal cords by rotating the arytenoid cartilage. And then another muscle is interarytenoid muscle transverse, origin, posterior surface of the arytenoid cartilage. Insertion is posterior surface of the contralateral arytenoid cartilage and closes the posterior part of rima glottis by approximating arytenoid cartilage. So this is the muscles controlling the movement of the vocal cord, the origin, insertion, and the actions of the intrinsic muscle, posterior cricoarytenoid and interarytenoid transverse. So actions of the posterior cricoarytenoid muscle showing the diagram, action of the transverse arytenoid muscle showing the diagram. So anatomy of the voice, so showing in the diagram, rear view of the larynx, front view of the larynx, and right view of the larynx. So this is the anatomy of the voice. And the next slide is mucous membrane. It is a stratified squamous epithelium over vocal cords and upper parts of the vestibules of the larynx. And it is a ciliated columnar epithelium, remainder of the cavity, and mucous gland, ventricle, and saculi, posterior surface of epiglottis, and margins of epiglottic folds, and Rinke's layer of connective tissue, no gland, no lymph vessels. So this is the mucous membrane. And the next slide is nerve supply. Nerve supply of the larynx. It is supplied by vagus nerve, superior laryngeal nerve, internal branch areas above the glottis, and external branch motor and sensory. Motor is cricothyroid muscles, sensory is anterior infraglottic larynx at the level of cricothyroid muscles, and inferior laryngeal nerve, motor, all intrinsic laryngeal muscles of same side except cricothyroid, and interarytenoid muscles of the both sides, and sensory areas below the glottis. This is the nerve supply of larynx. The branches of the vagus, superior laryngeal nerve and inferior laryngeal nerve. So now the right laryngeal nerve showing the diagram, left superior laryngeal nerve showing the diagram, and left recurrent laryngeal nerve showing the diagram, and right recurrent laryngeal nerve showing the diagram. Now the blood supply of the larynx. Upper larynx is supplied by external carotid artery, superior thyroid artery, and superior laryngeal artery. And lower larynx is supplied by subclavian artery, thyrocervical artery, and inferior thyroid artery, and inferior laryngeal artery. So this is the nerve supply, the blood supply. Now the next is venous drainage. Upper larynx, superior laryngeal vein, superior thyroid vein, internal jugular vein. Lower larynx, inferior laryngeal vein, inferior thyroid vein, and innominate vein. This is the venous drainage. Lymphatic drainage is main deep cervical group of lymph node, And supraglottic area 98% pedicle, anterior end of area epiglottic fold, pass laterally, leave the larynx through the thyroid membrane, upper deep cervical nodes between digastric tendon and omohyoid muscles, 2% of lower cervical chain of a spinal SO3 chain. This is the lymphatic drainage. And infraepiglottic area, there is a 3 pedicles, anterior pedicle, cricothyroid membrane, prelaryngeal nodes, deep inferior cervical nodes, and 2 is posterior lateral pedicle, cricotracheal membrane, paratracheal chain, other 2 inferior jugular chain. This is lymphatic drainage. So you look in the diagram where showing the lymph nodes, retropharyngeal, parotid, buccal, jugulo-digastric, submandibular, submental, infrahyoid, prelaryngeal, jugulo-omohyoid, and supraclavicular. Pretracheal, deep cervical, superficial cervical, occipital, and retroauricular. So this is the lymph nodes. So now come to the physiology of the larynx. So as you know that the basic functions of the larynx is number 1 is protections, respirations, phonation, and fixation of the chest and closure of the glottis. So you look in the diagram. So there is a resonance, phonations, and respiration showing in the diagram. So now the protections act as a sphincter, closure of the laryngeal inlet, closure of the glottis, cessations of the respirations, cough reflexes, expulsion of the secretions, and foreign bodies. So this is the protections. And 3 sphincteric tiers of airways protections, contraction of the superior division of the thyroarytenoid muscles, and contractions of middle thyroarytenoid fibers, and contractions of inferior division of thyroarytenoids. So this is the protections. And how to respirations assist in the regulation of gaseous exchange with the lung and maintenance in the acid-base balance. And glottis opens as a fractions of a second before air is down in by descent of the diaphragm. And posterior cricoarytenoids, phasic inspiratory abductions, synchronous respiration, cricothyroid muscles, phasic inspiratory contraction, adductions, increase the anterior posterior diameter of glottic chink. So this is the physiology of the respirations. How to respirate, and the phonations, voice produced by the vibrations of the vocal cords, and fundamental tone produced at the larynx, and modifying the resonantic chamber of the upper aerodigestive tract. So showing here the diagram, epiglottis, vocal cord, piriform fossa, trachea, vestibular fold, esophagus. So these are the phonations. So cricothyroid muscles position the vocal cord near the midline and lengthening the true cord as pitches increases. And thyroarytenoid muscles provide finer isometric modifications, increases the internal tensions of the true cord, producing the cord thinning. The afferent system, greatest in the laryngeal inlet, especially the laryngeal surface of the epiglottis, and serve as a protective functions of the lower respiratory tract. The efferent system, superior laryngeal nerve, innervate the cricothyroid. Recurrent laryngeal nerve, innervate all muscle except cricothyroid. Bilateral innervation to interarytenoid muscles, and posterior cricoarytenoids innervate by inferior laryngeal nerve, sole abductor, and thyroarytenoid and lateral cricoarytenoid major adductors, and interarytenoid muscles close the posterior gap in the glottis. This is the efferent system of the functions of the larynx. Now the next slide is laryngeal voice productions. Myoelastic aerodynamics theory. Laryngeal muscle position, forces of exhalation, increase subglottic pressure, exceed muscular opposition, glottic chink forced, and open release of air, decrease subglottic pressures, vocal cord approximation, and myoelastic forces of the vocal cord exceed the aerodynamics forces enhanced by Bernoulli's effect, resulting waveform and sawtooth type relaxation of oscillator. This is the laryngeal voice productions. And next slide is showing the diagram 1, 2, 3, 4. So first is the vocal folds muscle, second is air in trachea, and third is the scuno sound, third is the sound, and this is the physiology. Laryngeal voice productions, neuromuscular or neurochronaxic theory suggested that each new vibratory cycle is initiated by central neuronal impulse by the vagus nerve to the appropriate laryngeal muscles. A rate of impulse delivered to larynx, frequency of vocal cord vibration, and disproved by physiologic and audiometric analysis. This is the laryngeal voice productions and component of the vocal mechanism. Activator, energy produced by expiratory phase of breathing apparatus, and generator, glottis vibrate at different frequencies, and resonator, sound modulation occurring in resonating chambers, and articulators, precise movement of the palate, tongue, teeth, and lip. So these are the components of the vocal mechanism. So this is the anatomy and physiology of the larynx.